Back guaranteed.
I lost 10 pounds my first week.
I lost 20 pounds the first month.
I lost 105 pounds eating pizza, ice cream, burgers.
It's not that hard. You eat the food
and you lose the weight.
Order now and save 40% off every program. Plus, get 1 week of all new NutriPro shakes, packed with 20 grams of protein to help shrink your gut. Free.
I love the food. The meals are so satisfying.
The food is perfect for guys like me who don't like to cook.
It's not that hard, buddy. You eat the food,
you lose the weight.
You eat the food, you lose the weight. That's what guys want. Keeping it simple.
Go online or call 888-558-THIN and get free shakes plus save 40% off every program.
I have fantastic news for veteran homeowners who need money for their family. With our service, veterans like us earn the powerful VA home loan benefit that lets us borrow up to 100% of our home's value. At New Day USA, that can mean a lot more money, especially if your home has gone up in value. On average, our veterans take out $54,000. The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgage, consolidate your high-rate credit card debt, get cash, and lower your payments by over $600 a month. And because New Day USA has been granted automatic authority by the VA, they can say yes when banks say no. They look at your whole financial picture, not just your credit score. They even do all the VA paperwork for you, so your loan could close in as little as 30 days. So if you're a veteran and need money for your family, call New Day USA.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-855-429-4863.
Thank you to Larry Elder. You've got 15 seconds for some wisdom.
Wisdom?
Bring it.
Vote Republican. Donald Trump is right. If there are more Republicans there so we can overcome this filibuster, that's what you ought to do. Vote Republican.
And where can we listen to you?
15 seconds? No, because you're here.
Where can we listen to you, Larry? Where can we listen to more of your wisdom?
My Twitter is @LarryElder. My website is LarryElder.com. I'm in 300 markets. Over 1 million people hear me every day.
There you go.
And to the lady who just called me West Virginia's worst, I'm not from West Virginia. I'm from Virginia.
You're
Before
Virginia's
you insult
worst.
Somebody, get it straight. Thank you all, ladies, right
Thank
now.
you.
Molly Line in for Harris.
I am from West Virginia. But a Fox News alert, we are awaiting some new details on memorial events celebrating the life of Senator John McCain. In just a few moments, a spokesman for the McCain family will lay out plans for the rest of the week. It's already been announced that the senator will lie in state at the Arizona State Capitol Wednesday and in the U.S. Capitol on Friday. After a private service, Senator McCain will be buried at the Naval Academy Cemetery in Annapolis, Maryland on Sunday. John McCain passed away Saturday night after a battle with brain cancer. He was 81. Another Fox News alert, President Trump calling it a big day for trade as the U.S. and Mexico reach a groundbreaking agreement. Let's go outnumbered over time. I'm Molly Line. It is my honor today to fill in for Harris Faulkner. The Dow soaring today after the president announced that the U.S. has reached a preliminary agreement on a trade deal with Mexico to replace NAFTA, amid questions about whether Canada will enter the deal or make a separate agreement. The president in the Oval Office today describing the impact of the agreement with our neighbors to the south. Listen.
This is something that's very special for our manufacturers and for our farmers from both countries, for all of the people that work for jobs. It's also great trade, and it makes it a much more fair bill. And we are very, very excited about it. It's an extremely complex bill, and it's something that I think will be talked about for many years to come.
Just beginning to get some of the details, Chief White House correspondent John Roberts is live with the latest. John.
Molly, good afternoon to you. The president there in the Oval Office touting a new trade relationship with Mexico. And at the same time that he was talking to the press from the Oval Office, he had on the phone with him the outgoing president of Mexico, Enrique Peña Nieto. What this does is it tweaks a lot of trade provisions that exist under the current NAFTA agreement. But the president is calling it the U.S.-Mexico trade agreement because he says he doesn't like the word NAFTA. Listen here.
I like to call this deal the United States-Mexico Trade Agreement. I think it's an elegant name. I think NAFTA has a lot of bad connotations for the United States because it was a ripoff. It was a deal that was a horrible deal for our country.
Now, what was really interesting about this whole thing is that the president has often had a very rocky relationship with President Peña Nieto of Mexico. But Peña Nieto on the telephone with him on the speakerphone so we could all hear is all in for this deal. Listen here.
I am really grateful, Mr. President. I want to tell you that I greatly recognize and acknowledge your political will and your participation in this. It's been difficult, complex, and a very hard negotiation altogether, with difficult moments, of course, but I truly acknowledge now the fact that we've been able to reach an agreement.
By the way, that was the voice of a translator. Peña Nieto's voice is somewhat deeper than that. So here's some of what this new agreement will do in terms of automobile manufacturing. It changes the rules of origin for auto parts. 75% of auto content must be made in the United States and Mexico, and 40 to 45% of auto content must be made by workers earning at least $16 an hour. There's a lot of other auto provisions as well, but no time to go into all of them. In agriculture, it will enhance trade in agricultural goods between the two nations, and in textiles, promote greater use of U.S. fibers, yarns, and fabrics, among other things. All of this puts an enormous amount of pressure on Canada to come back to the table and craft a new deal with the United States, either under the auspices of NAFTA or a separate bilateral deal, as the president says he has just signed with Mexico. Canada's initial response from the Foreign Ministry, Canada is encouraged by the continued optimism shown by our negotiating partners. Progress between Mexico and the United States is a necessary requirement for any renewed NAFTA agreement. We are in regular contact with our negotiating partners, and we will continue to work toward a modernized NAFTA. We will only sign a new NAFTA that is good for Canada and good for the middle class. The president said in the Oval Office that he'd be calling the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I don't know if it'll be later today, but he said it will be soon. One thing, Molly, that's been talked about in terms of renegotiating NAFTA is a sunset clause, so that this thing just didn't extend on forever and end up getting us in the position that the United States found itself in now. What this deal will do, it's sort of a modified sunset provision. It'll run for a period of 16 years with a revision period of 6 years. So 6 years into those 16 years, they'll take a look at it and say, are things going along okay? And if they are, then they'll renew it for another 16 years. So it's a little bit of a hybrid there. Anybody who's done a television contract will know about that. You get a 4-year contract, but then you get like a 2-year cycle. So that's kind of the way that this goes.
All right, John Roberts, thank you so much. Fascinating to see those developments and the way they were laid out there a little bit over the phone. Thanks for keeping us up to date there from the White House. And for more on all of this, let's bring in Charles Payne, host of Making Money with Charles Payne on the Fox Business Network. Thanks for being here.
No, it's great to be here. It's a great day to be here, as a matter of fact.
I was just going to say, this has been pretty interesting. This is a promise that the president made on the campaign trail. So in essence, I suppose he could say, hey, look, I kept this promise, as well as some of the other economic promises that he says that he was trying to keep. How big is this?
You know, the Dow being up 270 points speaks volumes about how big this is. All the other major stock market indices are shattering records today. They're all at all-time highs. And if you dig deeper, some of the industries, auto parts makers, for instance, their shares are through the roof. So, I think that speaks volumes for where we are with this, how people feel about this. You couple it, as you were saying, with other promises kept to keep the economy going. On Friday, the Atlanta Fed said, you know what? Right now, this quarter, and it's still early, we're midway through it, but we're growing at about 4.6%. We started last Monday at 4.3%. So as the data keeps coming through, it feels like our economy is getting stronger and stronger. What I love about this, Molly, it's a win-win. It really is a win-win for everyone. For instance, that part with the workers making $16. Canada is going to look at that and they're going to love it because Canada competes with Mexico. And Mexico, if they can have some sort of a point where they can't go below, and $16 being sort of a threshold, that makes it more easier, rather, for Canada to compete for some of those auto contracts.
And that's kind of the big question now. It seems like some of the work's been done with Mexico, although they do have a political transition coming up. Does Canada join? Does Canada work out its own deal?
I think it would behoove Canada to join, honestly. Now, there are two main sticking points with Canada. One is how we resolve disputes. There's something called a Chapter 19 in the current NAFTA deal, and where you get sort of a cross-country panel. We've lost a lot of those, okay? Some we shouldn't have. We've lost too many of those, in fact. And Canada's going to be loath to give that up because they've won some of these battles that, to be quite frank with you, have been unfair to American workers. So they don't want to give that up, and they want to protect certain industries like dairy.
Looking ahead, there's a political transition coming up in Mexico. President-elect Lopez Obrador set to take over for Peña Nieto. We just heard that very nice conversation there with the president that seemed to be very positive. We have a political transition coming here in America, or the midterms coming up. Who knows what will happen? Could this deal be affected by that?
Absolutely. But this is also that those things also add a certain sense of urgency as well. Interesting enough, though, both the outgoing and current Mexican government were involved in this. Energy is going to be the key to watch. The new government really sort of resistant on foreign oil companies being involved. By the same token, you look a little further south in Venezuela when they kicked out all the foreign Western expertise, and it really disrupted their business. So we'll see. So far, the socialist elected president of Mexico has been a pretty good negotiator on some of these deals.
Big question. We've just got about 30 seconds left, but is this a win for the American worker?
Absolutely. It's a grand slam for the American worker. It's a grand slam. It's really a win-win. These trade deals can be a win-win for everyone. China should be next. Really honest, good trade, fair trade, without subsidies, without the dumping. That's great for everyone involved.
Man, China is one to watch, that's for sure.
They are.
Charles Payne.
By the way, they did something overnight that gives us some hope with their currency. They stopped devaluing it. I think that's going to work out faster than people believe, too.
We shall see. That battle's that's a hot one to watch for sure. All right, another Fox News alert. Right now, the McCain family spokesman is laying out more details about the memorial event scheduled for this week to remember the longtime senator. Meantime, the Senate is expected that their former colleague is expected to honor their former colleague when they meet later on this afternoon. Alicia Acuna has more from Phoenix. Alicia.
Hi, Molly. Yes, and Fox News has confirmed that President Trump decided against releasing a White House statement after the death of Senator John McCain. The president did, however, tweet his condolences and sympathies to the late senator's family. Now, in the Senate, as you mentioned, Senate Minority Leader Democrat Chuck Schumer says he will introduce a resolution to rename the Russell Senate Office Building after McCain. It is expected to be an emotional day in the Senate today. We are being told by our senior producer for Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, that when the Senate meets today at 4 p.m. Eastern, we can expect an invocation that will touch on the passing of McCain from Senate Chaplain Barry Black. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Minority Leader Schumer will likely make some remarks on their friend. The timing of that, of course, will be up to the senators. Also, according to custom, they will drape a black cloth over McCain's desk and place a bouquet of flowers on top. This as preparations continue for his memorial services in Arizona.
John McCain is an American hero. He's an icon. And he was larger than life in the state of Arizona, and I think he was larger than life in our national political debate. And he's just someone who's simply irreplaceable. His voice will be missed.
Now, at the conclusion of what his office is calling a celebration of his life and legacy here in Arizona, McCain's casket will be flown to Washington, D.C., where he will lie in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda on Friday. Saturday is the memorial service celebrating the life of Senator John McCain at the Washington National Cathedral. And Molly, as per his wishes, he will be buried at the cemetery at the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. And as this news conference continues to happen, we will bring you the latest updates on what's going to happen here and in Washington. Molly?
All right, Alicia Acuna, thank you very much. For more on this, let's bring in Fran Townsend, a friend of Senator McCain, board member of the McCain Institute, and a former Homeland Security advisor to President George W. Bush. Fran, thank you so much for being here today, for making yourself available. He led a full, remarkable life, but I know it can be very hard to lose a friend and a mentor, so our condolences to you.
Thank you.
If you could just share a personal story, a moment of advice that you received from the senator in your life that had an impact.
So the last time I sought professional advice, it was May of 2017, and as you'll recall, the president was thinking about who to replace James Comey as the director of the FBI. I got a phone call to come down to Washington and to talk about that job. I hasten to add the president made a terrific pick in Chris Wray, but I had to decide whether or not I was willing to go down to Washington. And given there had been friction between the president and Senator McCain, I called Senator McCain because I wanted his advice on what to do. And so he was at the ranch. I got Cindy. She had to get him in to take the phone call. This was before the diagnosis. And I said to him, Senator, what do I do? Do I go down? Would you feel like I was being disloyal to you? And he had a vintage John McCain response, and that was, no, of course you go down. Your country calls you. It's about service. It's not about me. And by the way, Fran, it's not about you. It's about the country. And I went down and I had the conversation. And so, but it was very much John McCain. He was first and foremost, it was about service. It was about doing the right thing for your country. And I took that away from that conversation as being sort of a cornerstone of John's career.
And I think that was a cornerstone that, in a sense, we all could observe in the way he lived his life. There was a moment on the campaign trail. I'm sure you've seen this many times, but we'd like to play it for just a moment if we can.
Sure.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about.
You know, the campaign trail can be a very difficult place, very harsh, and Senator McCain at that point in time when he was a candidate took a lot of hits, but he was so fast to snag that microphone, and you don't see that in American politics all that often. Your thoughts on that moment?
You know, I'll tell you, Molly, that is the most famous, and understandably so, but he did it at the Al Smith dinner that year. He said very kind things about Barack Obama. He also, at another campaign stop, when a man said he was afraid of an Obama presidency if McCain lost, he was quick to say, look, I want to be president, but you have nothing to fear. I mean, it was really, John McCain wanted the presidency, but he wanted to get it the right way, and he wasn't going to play sort of those petty politics. And again, I think that speaks very much to his character.
He's certainly irreplaceable, and you are one of the mentees, and others have come forward in recent days and talked about the advice that they've received. And there were some other folks that reached across the aisle, and we're beginning to see the end of sort of that particular generation, Ted Kennedy, Tip O'Neill, those folks that knew each other and worked together. Where do we go forward? Does Senator McCain understand that the legacy that he has and how we move forward holding on to that legacy?
I think he did, but I think he understood that for years, long before his diagnosis. I can tell you I traveled with him to the Munich Security Conference, and he would take new members of Congress, both senators and House members, Republicans and Democrats, because he wanted to spark their passion for national security issues, and he wanted them to share what he believed was important. He wanted them to get to know each other. He wanted them to laugh together and travel together and eat together. And that, I think, everyone who traveled with him, everyone who spent time with him on both sides of the aisle, understood he was trying to lay the seeds for the next generation to learn to do that. You kind of hope in the wake of John's passing that members of Congress will want to come together to do something really important together. I think what Senator Schumer's doing about the resolution to rename the building is terrific, but you would hope they'd also do something big on the policy side that people don't believe could be done, because that was John McCain, to tackle the impossible and at least make progress.
Certainly irreplaceable. Fran Townsend, thank you for joining us today and for sharing some of your memories.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the Senate, of course, set to reconvene today at 4 p.m. Eastern for the first time since the passing of their friend and colleague, John McCain. Our very own Neil Cavuto will have special coverage of that event right here on Fox News Channel. You will not want to miss that. Members of the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees preparing to question controversial Department of Justice official Bruce Orr tomorrow on his connection to the man behind that anti-Trump dossier and his wife's involvement with Fusion GPS leading up to the 2016 election. Whether Orr will be able to explain himself next.
I think it gives us a strong opportunity to ask him for answers, expect those answers, and if we don't get them, then in fact bring them in from a standpoint of real contempt.
Crab Fest is back at Red Lobster with our largest variety of crab all year, like new Crab Fest Combo. Your one chance to have new jumbo snow crab with tender Dungeness crab. Or try Crab Lover's Dream, but hurry in, because Crab Fest ends September 2nd.
Before I had the shooting, burning of diabetic nerve pain, these feet raised a good sport and became a second-generation firefighter. But I couldn't bear my diabetic nerve pain any longer, so I talked to my doctor, and he prescribed Lyrica.
Lyrica may cause serious allergic reactions, suicidal thoughts, or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worse depression, unusual changes in mood or behavior, swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or blurry vision. Common side effects: dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who've had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
Now I have less diabetic nerve pain.
Ask your doctor about Lyrica.
Do you know which investment could be your best performer this year? Stocks, real estate, bonds? None of the above. It's silver. It's trending higher. And if silver returns to its all-time high, that's over a 200% increase. Call now to get this free report. First-time callers also get this free 1-gram silver bar.
If I could only invest in one thing, it'd be silver. Silver is running out. It's in short supply. It is one of the greatest investments you could have right now.
Call Lear Capital for your free report, Sky High Silver. See why silver could skyrocket 50% this year, why financial experts and investment banks are hoarding silver at today's low price, and how silver can help protect your savings from global turmoil.
Investing in silver is the perfect way to protect your wealth.
Ask how you can get up to $2,000 in free silver. This offer ends soon. Call 1-800-885-1955. 1-800-885-1955.
I think it was a great idea.
You should stop. Our old TV provider decided to stop providing our school's games.
So I bought this bad boy. Road trips every Saturday.
And tetanus shots every Monday. But that Dish guy, the one who listens, he heard this thing coming, and he said, switch to Dish. Game finder. You get every major D1 football game right here at home.
You want to check out the inside? Carpet's original.
Stay home and get every major D1 game with Dish. Tuned into you.
Tonight, Laura Ingraham is back. Powerful debate, smart opinion, and the no-holds-barred conversation you need. You don't want to miss this Ingraham Angle.
Stressed because you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Freedom Debt Relief could help you be debt-free in as fast as 24 to 48 months.
We were drowning in credit card debt.
We can help. Freedom Debt Relief is the largest debt relief company in America. We've settled over $8 billion in debt for over 500,000 people.
I was relying on credit cards and my debt just ballooned.
No matter how you got into debt, our certified debt consultants are standing by for a free no-obligation consultation. 800-596-3811.
Freedom Debt Relief was a lifesaver. They got in touch with my creditors and reduced what I owed.
With one low monthly program payment, it's the smart way to handle credit card debt.
Finally being out of debt is a really good feeling.
End your debt stress now. Call Freedom Debt Relief. 800-596-3811. That's 800-596-3811.
Fox News Alert: Department of Justice official Bruce Orr set to appear behind closed doors before some members of the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees tomorrow. Republican lawmakers are expected to grill Orr about his connections to ex-British spy and author of that unverified anti-Trump dossier, Christopher Steele, as well as his wife Nellie, who worked for opposition research firm Fusion GPS during the 2016 campaign. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge joins us now live in Washington. Catherine?
Thanks, Molly. Good afternoon. Tuesday's deposition will focus on Orr's decision to break with protocol, and bypass DOJ leadership to share information with the FBI from the former British spy Christopher Steele, who was behind the anti-Trump dossier, and whether the FBI knew about Steele's hatred of candidate Trump, as well as his 2016 media contacts to brief this dossier, and the FBI still used the dossier to secure a surveillance warrant for a Trump campaign aide in late October 2016. It's important to note Orr oversaw gang and narcotics investigations at Justice. Russia was not part of his official portfolio. Investigators, we're told, are also probing Orr and Steele's relationship with Glenn Simpson, whose firm Fusion GPS was paid by the DNC and Clinton campaign for the dossier project. It's also important to note Simpson employed Orr's wife Nellie, who was part of the dossier research. A House Republican explained their strategy this morning on Fox.
We want him to confirm what we already know from hard evidence, that he and his wife were part of a conspiracy to, in fact, create this narrative of involvement and wrongdoing by the president relative to the Russians. We have a lot of evidence. Now the question is, can we get him to confirm the evidence, or will he deny the truth right before us in writing?
Justice Department has so far declined to comment on Orr, and it's important to note that he will be appearing voluntarily on the Hill tomorrow. Molly.
Yeah, and text messages between Orr and Steele went further.
Well, that's right. 2017 text messages obtained by Fox News asked Orr to be his go-between with the Russia special counsel. Quote, "We are frustrated with how long this re-engagement with the Bureau and Robert Mueller is taking," Steele wrote. "Anything you could do," that's a reference to Orr, "to accelerate the process would be much appreciated." 3 months later, Orr confirmed to Steele that he had passed along his questions. Steele is now impatient, describing mounting legal pressures. Quote, "I am presuming you've heard nothing back from your special counsel colleagues on the issues you kindly put to them from me. We have heard nothing from them either. To say this is disappointing would be an understatement." Fox News asked the special counsel whether they had engaged with Orr as a way to reach out to Steele, but they declined to comment for our reporting, Molly.
Catherine Herridge, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For more on this, let's bring in Republican Congressman Mark Walker of North Carolina, a member of the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, thank you for joining us here today.
Thanks, Molly.
So I want to start with this questioning of Orr that's slated for tomorrow. Why is this happening now?
Because I believe this is just where it's taken us. If you go back to the Peter Strzok hearing, we got breaking news that afternoon. Jim Jordan and I were talking. He asked for a minute to yield back because it was for the first time that we had confirmation that Bruce Orr did give information from the dossier to the FBI. Now, it's not just when and what Mr. Orr knew, but it was how he arrived at the information, the faulty dossier, even been falsified by Lenny Davis and others. But what did he do with that information? We believe there's strong evidence. Catherine Herridge just mentioned that a little bit. More than 60 contacts after Bruce Orr lied about being able to be in contact with Christopher Steele. We have documentation. We want to ask him about some of that tomorrow.
You know, this is fascinating to get just even a brief glimpse at some of the text messages that went back and forth. Bruce Orr seems to be such a central figure when it comes to Fusion GPS, the dossier ultimately making it to the FISA court. You know, what are the questions that you want to see cleared up?
Well, I think there's many questions that we need to see cleared up. One was to get concrete evidence and for him to hopefully acknowledge that he financially benefited from the dossier, from Christopher Steele's work, as well as Glenn Simpson, who was also over obviously the Fusion GPS. Now, tomorrow will be a little different than other hearings. It'll be a closed-door hearing. Trey Gowdy and John Ratcliffe, both former federal prosecutors. This won't be 5 minutes of back and forth, people trying to get a video clip for the nightly news. This will be something that we're able to dial down and get to the bottom line. We want answers, and we believe that specifically, that knowing now that he financially benefited, how and why, let's follow that paper trail. Let's get it out for the American people.
Yeah, there are so many motivations that people have, whatever the issue is. So I guess that would be some of the questioning here. You know, what was your motivation? As far as Fusion GPS is concerned, we also know that the Democratic Party, that the Clinton campaign were funding some of this research done by Christopher Steele, that full accounting as to where this all came from wasn't presented in full and incomplete to the FISA court. So when you boil all of that down, the answers that he gave, will that clear up any of the explanation for how all of the information ended up before the court?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's not just the when and where, but it's how he obtained the information, what he did with that information. That's going to be crucial. All of this has been sponsored or brought to you by Hillary Clinton and our friends at the DNC. We want to make sure that we're putting these pieces of paper together, this trail. But also, it's very interesting with Nellie Orr. She's a central figure. Even though the investigation is directed at Bruce Orr, we want to know how he obtained that information. But here is someone who lived in Russia, and obviously some of the information that we've discovered. Why is it that we were wondering that she purchased a ham radio operator's license the very same month that she was hired Fusion GPS? This continues to unravel, but it looks like this is a perfect example of this deep state of this swamp creatures that have been playing a different set of rules than what the American people have been playing by.
All right, Congressman Mark Walker, thank you so much. Interesting that you mentioned this behind closed doors, so it does take some of that political theater out. So we'll see if you guys get the answers that you're looking for, and if ultimately we as the American people will also get some of that information as well. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Molly.
A federal investigation now underway after a gunman opens fire on gamers in a tournament, killing 2 people and wounding many more before killing himself. A live report from Florida just ahead. Plus, President Trump appearing to score a big win as he announces a preliminary agreement on trade with Mexico, what it could mean for the midterms. Our Power panel weighs in.
Hi, I'm Barry Sloan with NewTek, your business solutions company. Does your business need money? Whether you need $10,000 or $10 million, you can count on NewTek, the nation's largest non-bank government-guaranteed lender. NewTek can help your business expand and grow. With a simple phone interview, we can pre-qualify you in just 48 hours. And with rates as low as 6%, you can see why so many businesses turn to NewTek. To see how easy getting a loan can be, contact NewTek, your business solutions company, today.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Your insurance rates skyrocket after a scratch so small you could fix it with a pen. How about using that pen to sign up for new insurance instead?
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise their rates because of their first accident. Switch and you could save $782 on home and auto insurance. Call 1-888-764-2147 for a free quote today. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's Nutrisystem's Red Hot Sale. Celebrate summer and save 40% off every program, including Turbo 13. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Lose weight fast. Money back guarantee.
I'm Marie and I lost 50 pounds with Nutrisystem.
I am so much healthier now.
Nutrisystem delivers your favorite foods made healthier, perfectly portioned to fuel and satisfy.
Count, measure, meetings, not with Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day program right now, and we'll rush you Turbo 13 with the new Turbo Takeoff Week with new foods. Plus, a week of probiotic and delicious Turbo Shakes free to shrink your belly and lose weight fast.
You'll see results your very first week.
For a limited time, save 40% off every program.
Nutrisystem works.
Do it. Do it now. Don't wait.
Go online or call 888-915-THIN and get shakes free plus 40% off every program.
Fox News Alert, an emotional moment as McCain family spokesman Rick Davis reads a letter the senator wanted read after his death. Let's listen.
My fellow Americans, whom I have gratefully served for 60 years, and especially my fellow Arizonians, thank you for the privilege of serving you and for the rewarding life that service in uniform and in public office has allowed me to lead. I've tried to serve our country honorably. I've made mistakes, but I hope my love for America will be weighed favorably against them. I've often observed that I am the luckiest person on earth. I feel that way even now as I prepare for the end of my life. I've loved my life, all of it. I've had experiences, adventures, friendships, enough for 10 satisfying lives, and I am so thankful. Like most people, I have regrets, but I would not trade a day of my life, in good or bad times, for the best day of anybody else's. I owe the satisfaction to the love of my family. One man has never had a more loving wife or children he was prouder of than I am of mine. And I owe it to America, to be connected to America's causes, liberty, equal justice, respect for the dignity of all people, brings happiness more sublime than life's fleeting pleasures. Our identities and sense of worth are not circumscribed, but are enlarged by serving good causes bigger than ourselves. Fellow Americans, that association has meant more to me than any other. I lived and died a proud American. We are citizens of the world's greatest republic, a nation of ideals, not blood and soil. We are a blessing to humanity when we uphold and advance those ideals at home and in the world. We have helped liberate more people from tyranny and poverty than ever before in history, and we have acquired great wealth and power in the progress. We weaken our greatness when we confuse our patriotism with tribal rivalries that have sown resentment and hatred and violence in all the corners of the globe. We weaken it when we hide behind walls rather than tear them down, when we doubt the power of our ideals rather than trust them to be the great force for change they have always been. We are 325 million opinionated, vociferous individuals. We argue and compete and sometimes even vilify each other in our raucous public debates. But we have always had so much more in common with each other than in disagreement. If only we remember that and give each other the benefit of the presumption that we all love our country, we will get through these challenging times. We will come through them stronger than before. We always do. 10 years ago, I had the privilege to concede defeat in the election for president. I want to end my farewell to you with heartfelt faith in Americans that I felt so powerfully that evening. I feel it powerfully still. Do not despair of our present difficulties. We believe always in the promise and greatness of America, because nothing is inevitable here. Americans never quit. We never surrender. We never hide from history. We make history. Farewell, fellow Americans. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.
That was Rick Davis, a former campaign manager for Senator McCain, and what a remarkable statement to hear a few final words from the senator here just after his passing, and those words were remarkable. He called himself the luckiest person on earth. Let's bring in our power panel. Guy Benson, Fox News contributor, co-host of Benson and Harf on Fox News Radio, and Jessica Tarlov, Fox News contributor. Thanks for both being here today.
Thank you.
I want to start with you, Guy. I had a chance to speak a lot with Jessica in the last hour, but just listening to that really remarkable letter to Americans, which was something that he was so proud of himself, just being an American.
Yeah,
the privilege
it was
of that.
really powerful. And you can sort of picture a man who gave his whole life to his country with about a year's worth of notice, with an awareness that his time was coming soon, sitting down and crafting a final love letter to that country. And that's what this was. I mean, Rick Davis could barely get through reading it, and it was really powerful, really emotional. I was struck by the gratitude, big and small, personal and national. I was struck by McCain's appeal to our highest ideals, a really robust case for American exceptionalism and what that means. And then I think really crucially, a call not necessarily to national unity, but a call to reject destructive tribalism, where we forget that we are on the same team because we are fighting each other so intensely. He said we can be and have to be bigger than that. And that's, I think, one of the legacies that he'll leave behind. The other one being the theme that we've heard throughout his entire adult life of public service, that the calling to do something bigger than just yourself and to pursue things that are larger than your narrow self-interest was sort of the fundamental joy and mission of his life. And it was very clear and poetic that he wanted to repeat that on this really important stage one last time upon his death.
Yeah, and he was credited, of course, in his life as being a bipartisan powerhouse. He said in this final letter, "We have more in common than in disagreement." Jessica?
I'm glad that he felt that way. I wish more people feel that way, but I think if we look at our politics at the moment, I would guess that more often than not you'd hear from people that they don't have anything in common with those on the other side, which is something quite regrettable. The line that I liked the most about what he wrote and I thought was most powerful, he kept saying, "my fellow Americans," and that was the association in life that meant the most to him. This is someone who had a big loving family, who was a member of one of the most important bodies of government in the world, and it was what he shared with his fellow Americans, with his fellow patriots, that meant the most to him. I think this is where we were talking before we started. If either of us knew if someone had done something like this before and we couldn't come up with it. It's a wonderful thing to get to hear from his own mouth, essentially, what he wanted us to take away from his life and his career, and what he wanted for us going forward to be able to achieve in terms of unity, and maybe looking at someone on the other side of the aisle and saying, hey, we do have more in common than you think.
And because he's been such a towering figure in our politics, and we all know him so well, an omnipresent fixture on television, even though it was Rick Gates reading the words, you could hear his voice saying those words.
Yeah. All right, thank you both. And I believe we're going to come back after the break with that. Some top Democrats laying out investigations they hope to launch in the Trump administration if they retake the House in November. Does this raise the stakes for the midterms? Our power panel will stay right here.
The best thing we can do is promise the American people, if we are given the majority, that we will conduct the investigations the Republicans are unwilling to conduct, including this campaign finance violation, including the questions around his contacts with the Russians.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need cash? You need to know about the New Day 100 Home Loan for Veterans. It lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value. The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgages, consolidate your credit card debt, put cash in the bank, and lower your payments an average of $600 a month. Call them today.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-866-551-9967.
If you're a veteran, own a home, and need money for your family, call New Day USA to use your valuable VA home loan benefit.
Thank you, Admiral.
It lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value.
Thank you, Admiral.
With today's rising home values, that can mean more money for you and your family.
Thank you, Admiral.
Money to pay down debts and get financial peace of mind.
Thank you, Admiral.
We'll do everything we possibly can to get you approved.
Call 1-866-551-9967.
People with type 2 diabetes are excited about the potential of once-weekly Ozempic. In a study with Ozempic, a majority of adults lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7 and maintained it.
Oh, under 7?
And you may lose weight. In the same one-year study, adults lost on average up to 12 pounds.
Oh, up to 12 pounds?
A 2-year study showed that Ozempic does not increase the risk of major cardiovascular events like heart attack, stroke, or death.
Oh, no increased risk?
Ozempic should not be the first medicine for treating diabetes or for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not share needles or pens. Don't reuse needles. Do not take Ozempic if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Ozempic. Stop taking Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, itching, rash, or trouble breathing. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis. Tell your doctor if you have diabetic retinopathy or vision changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase the risk for low blood sugar. Common side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, and constipation. Some side effects can lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
I discovered the potential with Ozempic.
Ask your healthcare provider if Ozempic is right for you.
Oh, hey, Mom. Now that we have your attention, Capri Sun has 4 updated drinks. Now with only the good stuff. Do you know how to use those? Nope. Get those kids some Capri Sun.
Keith and Melissa lived next to Melissa's parents. And when it was clear living 30 feet away had to change to living 3,000 miles away, they made the right move and called Pods. So did their not-so-new neighbors.
Mom?
Pods, the right move for your move.
Far from ordinary, and now far closer than you ever imagined. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
At Safelite Auto Glass, we really pride ourselves on making it easy for you to get your windshield fixed. With Safelite, you can see exactly when we'll be there, saving you time for what you love most.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
All right, I brought in new Max Protein.
To give you the protein you need, with less of the sugar you don't. I'll take that.
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. New Ensure Max Protein and 2 great flavors.
Top Democrats outlining the investigations their party could pursue if they win the House back in November. Congressman Jerry Nadler, who would chair the Judiciary Committee if the Democrats win the majority, says they would continue to investigate Russian meddling. Watch.
I think the Mueller investigation has to continue first and foremost, and the committee has to defend the Mueller investigation against the president's and the Republicans in Congress attempts to sabotage it, to discredit it, and to discredit the FBI and the Department of Justice. The role of Congress is not to protect the president, it's to hold the president and any president accountable to the American people, and we ought to be holding investigations.
Meantime, Republicans are reportedly preparing their own list of investigations that they think Democrats would launch if they flip the House. Axios obtained this document, dubbing it the Hell List. We're back with our power panel, Guy Benson and Jessica Tarlov. We can see some of the list there going up and down across the screen. Thanks for coming back, guys. President Trump's tax returns, the Trump family businesses, payments to Stephanie Clifford, a.k.a. Stormy Daniels, James Comey's firing. Really a long list of potential possibilities should the Democrats win in the fall. Do you think any of that will come to pass, Jessica?
If the Democrats win in the fall, yes, I think they will. They've made a number of requests to the various committees that they're already on, which have not been answered. So they're saying we've been asking these questions and we want to go further. But we just showed a clip of Jerry Nadler talking about something very specific there. But there's a lot more beyond the orbit of Russian meddling or, porn star payoffs. There are things about ethics compliance. There's, classified information being passed around Mar-a-Lago with no one seemingly in sight, who the president actually is playing golf with all the time and what he's talking to them about. The Trump family and the Trump organization benefiting financially and certainly in terms of power from, various dignitaries that are staying at their hotels and eating in their restaurants. Did they properly divest? There are lots of questions.
Guy, do you think those questions, if the Democrats do choose to, if they do win, if they do choose to ask them, if they start digging into all of some of the things that really happened long before the president was running or became president, could that really bog things down for the Democrats? Would that be a winning strategy?
Well, I think that one of the fault lines of this electoral campaign is going to be if the Democrats win the House in particular with that subpoena power, what would they do? And I think that Jessica's right. There would be a slew of investigations into all sorts of things, some serious, some frivolous. And there was a poll that NBC and the Wall Street Journal put out just this weekend that showed that Americans are, surprised, evenly split between concern that the Republican Congress would not hold the president accountable and concern that the Democratic Congress, hypothetically, would be overly obstructionist and do nothing but attack the president. And so I think you're going to see those arguments made by both political parties, with the Democrats, like Jerry Nadler, saying these Republicans are going to let him get away with anything. They won't hold him accountable. They won't investigate him. And the Republicans saying the Democrats won't be interested in governing. They'll be interested in constantly poking and prodding and trying to take down the president.
So we see both parties kind of saying, look, we have to win because we don't want the other guys investigating this. Does that strategy work as we head towards the midterms? We hear the Republicans talking a lot about this great economy. Is that a more winning strategy?
I certainly think anytime that you can talk about the bread and butter issues, the economy, and now we have health care tied with the economy as the #1 issue, you're going to do better. I don't think it behooves either party to make investigations their main touchstone. So that's on the Republican side. Obviously, you should be talking about the economy. That's the only area right now that the president has positive approval ratings on. Democrats can talk about the whole gambit. But if you just make it about Russia, 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 or you make it about they're going to impeach him, that doesn't get people to the polls. It's not as exciting as, hey, maybe there's another tax cut in store for you, or I'm actually going to fix your health care, or, secure the border. So I think that this is being inflated into the main message of the Democratic Party, which as a Democrat, I can tell you it is not.
Although I think there is a sense that the Democrats would be much more eager to impeach the president if they had a majority. They're saying, let's not talk about it yet, but if we win, then that's another story. That is a motivating factor for Republican voters.
We just talked about that on the couch. And I think that's, if you want to get people to the polls for a midterm election, you tell them they're going to lose,
casually mention high crimes and misdemeanors and then say, but let's not talk about that right now.
No, Adam Schiff obviously played that properly. I do believe, and I don't have any people that I talk to that are in favor of impeachment without actually knowing what you are doing it for. So when you have people
60 Democrats voted for it, so...
I think a lot of those are show votes. 60 Democrats is also not even close to the general population of Democrats.
I mean, impeachment, that's a little bit about the politics. But here's something. The ranking member of the House Oversight Government Committee, Elijah Cummings, sent a letter to Trey Gowdy urging him to bring up Cohen to testify. So that kind of takes things in a different direction towards the president's former business dealings, campaign for these finance allegations that Cohen has pled guilty to. Is that a bigger concern than political implications like an impeachment? Okay.
We don't know. We don't know what Cohen has, if he's telling the truth. They've already backed off some of the stuff that Lanny Davis went out there and sort of tantalized people that he might have knowledge about Russia. And then he said, actually, I didn't know what I was talking about. Never mind. So my position on this, and has been consistent, let Robert Mueller do his work. Yeah. He's talking to Michael Cohen right now. And I think for Democrats to try to jump on that bandwagon, that almost might be stepping on the toes of Robert Mueller, which is not, at least theoretically, what they would want to do.
Or SDNY is who's going to move ahead with their investigation, no matter what.
Guy Benson, Jessica Tarlov, thanks for joining us.
Molly.
Appreciate it. We have the president here. Actually, we can take a quick look. This is President Trump welcoming the president of Kenya. Just moments ago, there at the White House, yes, at the White House. This is Kenyan President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That is also his wife, Margaret Kenyatta. They're at the South Portico. We're just taking a look here. The critical country, as far as in particular when it comes to terrorism. They have quite a battle there against al-Shabaab down there. Just some of the things that we're working with with our African colleagues. And we'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Midas. Trust the Midas touch.
As King Midas, I get special treatment. Here, you will too. Your oil change comes with a tire rotation as well. Ooh, I could put that on an airplane banner.
Our $19.99 oil change also includes a tire rotation. Book an appointment online.
You shouldn't be rushed into booking a hotel. With Expedia's add-on advantage, booking a flight unlocks discounts on select hotels until the day you leave for your trip. Add-on advantage, only when you book with Expedia.
For those who are driven by purpose, who are building others instead of just wealth, giving back and never giving up, TIAA will help you live your definition of success. Whether you have $500 or $5 million. Investing, advice, banking, retirement. TIAA. Start today at TIAA.org.
Feel the clarity of non-drowsy Claritin and relief from symptoms caused by over 200 allergens, like those from Buddy. Because stuffed animals are clearly no substitute for real ones. Feel the clarity and live Claritin Clear.
Your brain changes as you get older, but Prevagen helps your brain with an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Fox Nation. Find out more at foxnation.com now.
Imagine one day to get the summer-ready body you've always wanted. Imagine one day to a slimmer waist, toner arms, and thinner thighs. One day isn't someday, it's now. Sonobello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, can help you lose fat and transform your body in as little as one day.
Absolutely, the next day you see the results. 100%, I wish I would have done it sooner.
Using advanced microlaser technology, our experienced board-certified plastic surgeons can target multiple problem areas in just one day. Call 888-317-1425 for your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how to get one area free. That's your stomach, inner thighs, even your arms, free. And with locations nationwide, there's a Sonobello near you. Get our best offer of the year. Book now and get one area free. Payment plans available. Call 888-317-1425. Now.
Hiring was always a huge challenge. Endless hours on job sites with not a lot to show for it. Then, I found ZipRecruiter. They figured out hiring. I post my job, they put it all over the web, and they send me the right people, because their technology is smart. ZipRecruiter often sends me the right person in 24 hours.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/Fox.
Hi, I'm Joan London. Today's senior living communities have never been better. With amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And there's never been an easier way to get great advice. A Place for Mom is a free service that pairs you with a local advisor to help you sort through your options and find the perfect place. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together we'll make the right choice.
A federal judge in Seattle extending a temporary ban that keeps a Texas company from posting 3D gun plans online. Dan Springer is live from Seattle with more. Dan.
Yeah, hey, Molly, this ruling is not a surprise, and while some may argue that it's a legal defeat for the White House, President Trump himself has said plastic guns make no sense. He said that in a tweet. But the State Department and DOJ lawyers argued that allowing the files that program 3D printers to make plastic guns to be published on the internet does not pose a threat to national security. Making all plastic guns that can get by metal detectors has been illegal for 30 years. Today's ruling doesn't change that. It's on the public release of the blueprints to help people make 3D guns. And in issuing his preliminary injunction today, U.S. District Court Judge Robert Lasnik wrote, quote, "The publication of the technical data would subvert the domestic laws of states with more restrictive firearm controls and threaten the peace and security of the communities where these guns proliferate." Gun control groups say it was a no-brainer.
Nearly 80% of Americans believe that this is an issue of public safety and want Congress to do something about it, including a large majority of gun owners and Republicans. We don't think this is a partisan issue.
Amendment Foundation and Texas company Defense Distributed argue this is about free speech and innovation. They say the files would not help people make guns that are illegal because they require that metal parts be included, which would be detectable by metal detectors. Today's preliminary injunction means that Defense Distributed may not publish the 3D files until there is a full trial. Molly?
All right, Dan Springer, thank you. And more Outnumbered in just a moment.
Come on. Bona makes it easy to care for your hardwood floors, so you can take care of more important things. Bona's Quick Clean system gives you a thorough clean quickly. Bona wet cleaning pads are infused with our superior